Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourselves in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Hong Kong House of Cards. This will be a mage edition scene in which the Hollow One Cabal is hosting Mr. Arthur Wainwright. Arthur, having texted Gravedigger over the course of the day to inform him he may well have come up with a remedy for the brain slug that is currently chewing away on his that is currently chewing its way through his frontal cortex. That's some good frontal cortex. Begin the scene in Carpe Noctem, just as we have let the punters in for the evening. It is a Tuesday evening, or Monday evening rather, so it is not going to be incredibly busy. You'll be able to move and wend your way between the various different cliques and groups of people. However, it's Carpe Noctem. It's a popular club. There'll always be people there. So we shall begin as Mr. Arthur Wainwright enters the establishment.
Right. Arthur's going to walk on in with one of his medicine bags on his back, the other one slung around his waist, like he just came from a backpacking trip.
Okay.
Are they going to try to search him, or are they just going to be like, you know what, fuck it?
Basically, if you come to Gravediggers a lot, you get like a silver card that if you show the bouncers, they'll just let you through. Apart from Tony, who's never been given a silver card because bitch can't carry weapons in my establishment for reasons. Most of the reasons involve my personal safety, but say love me.
He's going to walk up to the bartender and be like, so, where's Fruit Loops?
She kind of turns around and she kind of quirks her head to the side and he says, oh no, it's trust me when I say he's more crunchy nut cornflakes than Fruit Loops, and upstairs, sir.
He's gonna head upstairs.
Okay. Gravedigger, Pyro, and Spider will be sitting down in the VIP lounge. Pyro, what have you prepared for this evening's dinner? Because God knows you do this.
Yes. This particular evening, it's several platters of various cured meats, fine cheeses, and several large dishes of sugared treats, as well as some sweet wines. You will also notice he has a large rubber club sitting on the desk next to him, on which he has attached a small label with the words "For Gravedigger's Head" written on it. Just in case Gravedigger starts getting uppity.
When Arthur comes in, Gravedigger will stand from his chair and he'll bow and he'll say, "Ah, Mr. Wainwright, have you had dinner? Please feel free to join us."
Arthur's going to sit down and just say, I had a salad earlier. Didn't agree with me. This is some wicked sweet-looking stuff, though.
Most of it's a Spanish import, so I suggest not letting it go to waste.
He'll reach out, grab something, take a bite of it, go. Not bad.
I didn't touch my drink. Do you want anything?
Everyone in the room, when Arthur says not bad, we'll just see Pyro Blanche.
I would like to point out, Mr. Wainwright's not exactly the most expressive of people when it comes to his vocabulary. He liked your food, calm your tits, and what did you say, Spider?
I said, I'm going to go freshen up my drink. Do you need anything?
Cream soda, please. If there's got Old English or Old Brook ones, that'd be appreciated.
I do have Old English, but I don't think that's what you're talking about.
No, it's not.
Pyro picks up the jug, one of the jugs of sweet wine, and actually drinks from the jug.
Yeah, it's
on the bright side.
I mean, I get you picked out your wine all special, but I'm going to make myself a cocktail. And in real life, I am going to make myself a cocktail.
On the bright side, Mr. Wainwright, at least you're not a vaguely fairy-shaped bomb come to blow me up.
No, that's happening Tuesday.
There is a rather curled eyebrow at that.
I'm messing with you.
Yeah. It's funny, as I said. it's kind of interesting when there's a group of people pissed at you, but you honest to God can't remember why they're pissed at you. So I hope it's interesting. That's all I have to say.
Well, I think I've explained to you a few times what the myths are, but I think while it happened, you were under the influence of the myths, so it was part of the conversation that got lost to your brain.
Yes. I've come to that realization, but the problem is that I don't exactly know how I pissed them off. So it's kind of hard to, be quote unquote, I believe it was be contrite or apologetic or whatever the fuck their message said when you don't know what you've done.
Apparently, you shoved memories inside people's heads.
Only memories that they asked for.
Mm.
Pyro turns.
I will
They
say
are-
this.
With minds.
I will say this much: when you know as much as we know about what you've seen, sometimes it's not best to show them to innocents.
Gravedigger
I mean-
lift. Sorry,
I mean, Engraver, he's just going to say, I mean, you weren't sitting on the moon watching your friends get murdered.
Gravedigger will lift his teacup to his lips and he'll take a sip before placing it back down again, and he'll say, I'm well aware of that, Arthur. However, look, frankly, when it boils down, you can see he genuinely thinks about what he's going to say before he says, I remember the two, well, one of them was a changeling who, I don't know, that was some weird shit, apparently likes to eat broken glass and people. Who likes to eat people? I mean, but from what Pyro tells me, the meat's no good.
No.
I don't know why you know that, but somehow you do.
I've said this before, O'Bean. Never ask certain questions.
I will live a longer and
Never.
happier life. Hmm. But no, being realistic, they asked for the information. They were told multiple times it was not a good idea. They still wanted the information. I supplied it.
Well, from what I've heard, there was also the girl that didn't ask for it. But the one thing you got to understand is that there are certain Fae that are incapable of telling the truth. A couple of friends of mine, Desdemona and Dehi, they were like that too. It's part of their people's curse or gift or something like that, where they can be witnesses, but they can never tell you exactly what happened.
That sounds infuriating.
It was, but you have to learn. Basically, whatever somebody says, you just gotta find a way to interpret it properly. That's what I learned to do. That's what a lot of us learned to do when Des and Dehi were still members of the court.
Once again, he lifts his teacup to his lips and then he places it back down. I am curious, though. For a start, I'm not up for all this malarkey with the fairies.
Why do you think the Order of Hermes says don't mess with them?
Yeah, you just see Pyro raise his hands going, Tail!
Yeah.
Do
But the
not
fact of the
molest
ma-
the Fae! Warned you before.
The fact is, though, Arthur, being realistic, and Greytick puts his teacup down and he fixes you with his one brilliant green eye. The other one's obviously hidden behind its eye patch. And he says, sooner rather than later, we're going to have to throw our dice at the technocracy. We're going to have to see if we win or if we lose. And I think that you and I understand that day is much closer than it is further away, if you understand me.
Yeah, I do.
When that
And when
barrier...
I was going to say, I still have my plan for when that day comes. And when that happens, you guys need to be far away from me. Because I won't be able to control what she does.
That's entirely valid. However, being realistic, Arthur, I don't know if you're planning some kind of martyrdom thing where, you pop off with Luna and, go full Super Saiyan. That's your business. I personally intend to survive through the very end, one way or the other. I like living. I've seen what happens when you don't live, and I don't particularly like it. But when the wall comes down, and he gestures up, all this House of Cards nonsense goes away, they become the enemy again.
That's true, but I'm probably gonna miss my friends that I've made. Still have no clue where Bosco ran off to.
The bear is missing.
He's been missing for about 2 or 3 months now.
Would you like us to find him for you?
Trust me, if he's where I think he is, he doesn't want to be found, and we can't find him.
Why?
I've
Where do
got-
you think he's gone off to?
There are certain hiding spots in the Umber that even I can't see. And I've sent Eagle after him. And the last time he disappeared like this was when his little Garu friends with Benny, died. And Eagle was barely able to find him last time. I don't know what's going on this time. I'm worried he's off somewhere with a silver dagger or something like that. I can only hope that wherever he is, he's safe.
That's fair. But, like, were you trained by Master DeSalle or no?
No, I was trained by Serena my brain's not fucking right. Serena Ravenwood, master of the Bounty Verbena, and one of the most powerful life mages in America.
Okay. Because, as I said, he's had to make deals with vampires, something a Master of the Order of Hermes... Hey, Pyro, what would it be like if a Master of the Order of Hermes was known to be making deals with the leeches?
Well, he wouldn't be a master for very long, and he wouldn't be a breathing person for very long, except in very specific and very, very difficult circumstances.
Exactly. But as I said, when the barrier goes down, if they become his enemy again, they become our enemy again. And I personally rather like having my avatar where it is and not down the fangs of some undead fiend. Thank you very much.
Trust me, I'm the same way. And DeSalle feels the same way too. I mean, that's why, he's got cases of high explosive rounds and cases of phosphorus rounds and fucking dragon's breath shotguns, He's not exactly stupid.
Good. Now then. I suppose that we should actually get to the business at hand.
Oh,
There's
by
kind
the
of a
way,
wince.
Yeah, what did you do wrong? They must have done something wrong.
me?
No, Gravedigger.
Oh, he read from the book, and now there's a parasite on his brain that I have to burn off.
Which book?
He's not wrong.
Bible? The
It was,
Mouse?
Called
was
the
it? What-
Codex of Lurie.
Oh, joy. You actually see Pyro stand up with truncheon in hand, and he just starts patting it with his palm.
You're not hitting me with that.
I'm guessing you're familiar with that Triumvirate books.
I'm familiar with the general rule. If books have the word codex on the cover, be very cautious about reading them. It generally means there's something wuzzy going on.
Well, according to
Yeah.
DeSalle, there's 3 books that are part of what's called the Voynich documents. Apparently some monk or friar by the name of Roger Bacon had them hold up in a...
Wait a sec. Roger Bacon?
Yes.
As in the guy who, if I remember correctly, was the court wizard to Queen Elizabeth.
Yes. Actually, he wasn't a wizard, he was a Franciscan monk, but he was also the one that was responsible for a lot of really unusual things, and apparently he's still alive, at least according
Apparently
to
so.
Yeah,
according to Brother Bartholomew.
Okay, Evan,
Yeah.
prepare to make a duck roll.
Oh, crap.
If you're going to have this quite heavy rubber club thrown at your head at speed.
Okay. Would you like to roll your roll to hit?
I'm going to, because as far as Pyro is concerned, you did a majorly stupid.
I do that, to be fair. I do that quite a lot.
In fairness, I believe this would come under. This is melee, or would it come under firearms?
Dex
It'll
melee.
be
Actually,
Dex
Dex
melee,
athletics.
or if you're
Yeah,
unless you're
athletics.
are you actually physically throwing it? In which
Yes,
case it
he's
becomes
actually
Dex.
physically going to
That's
throw it
Dex
at.
athletics.
That's Dex athletics. Sorry, were you saying something, Caleb?
Yeah, I was in agreement of Dex athletics.
In fairness, I'm probably still going to miss because he's a shit shot.
Oh, Spider! I will say at this point, Spider comes back in the room with the cream soda, and puts it in front of Arthur, and sits down with
One success
Cocktails.
there, Evan. So, any resistances? Like water, any shit?
Are you going to dodge?
Yeah, give me just a second.
Dex athletics to dodge. Arthur will take the cream soda and take a sip of it as all of a sudden Pyro hucks a rubber bat at the
Yeah.
back of Gravedigger's head.
Basically, bearing in mind that Pyro is already standing up, just imagine that he, after a couple of seconds, just pirouettes on the spot and with as much force as he can muster, hurls it, throwing knife style, directly at Gravedigger's head.
And
Okay,
with that amount of successes, that's pretty effortless to dodge.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
It's actually double that. It's actually 6 successes because whenever Gravedigger takes a full defensive action, you perceive him as being slightly more to the left than he is due to a correspondence roach he has on him all the time. So he actually gets an extra 3 successes, so it's actually 6. So yeah, Anthony,
Yes.
that's nowhere close.
Yeah, so you just see twang, clong, thump.
Hmm.
As it bounces off a wall and hits the ground with a dull thud.
Can you not
No,
do that, please?
If it makes you feel better, apparently there's a abbey in Wales that is completely overrun by weird things because of one of the other books. But 2 of them are supposed to be in the what is it? The Archive Hereticus of the Vatican.
You learn something new every day.
Also, apparently,
Pyro will just suddenly turn and point directly at Gravedigger. No,
What the?
no, you are not raiding the Vatican. No!
I feel drawn to
Not
point out,
anyway,
as I've never raided the Vatican before, can we put that on the to-do list?
Also,
No, it's only, we are not doing
Also-
it, list.
a spider
Also-
wants to talk.
Pyro, tranquilo, man. Of course, we're not going to raid the Vatican today.
Uh-huh.
We're trapped in the city. Once it goes down, who knows what happens?
I like
Tell
this
you
plan.
what will happen, Spider. He'll get hold of another one of these books and end up turning his mind into a fucking Cthulhu frenzy.
Yeah,
No,
and
that would be-
our dear compatriot here, our dear friend and associate, Arthur will fix him because he is a great and gentle soul. Am I right?
Yeah,
This is
and
glass.
from what I understand, once I burn that thing off his brain, he forgets everything he ever read about it.
See?
To be fair, I didn't get much out of it. It's
Yeah, I hear
Tony.
you passed out like a bitch.
Gravedigger.
Maybe.
Did I? Yes, I did. Yep. Yes, I did, sir. After I was looked down upon by something I never want to remember again. Thank you very much for asking. But it's Tony who's the problem.
Yeah, and Tony hasn't returned my message about ripping it off her brain.
That's because she wants it on her brain after.
As a member of the Ravenna tradition, I'm not allowed to interfere with how other people think, as it violates the Wiccan Rede. However, as a person who has been in the city for a long time, all I can say is that when shit like this gets fucked up, it gets fucked up hardcore.
Right. Pyro, do me a favor, will you?
Yes.
He kind of gestures down to the audience, like we're about 30 feet above, no less, about 20 feet above them, in the balcony of the VIP lounge. He goes, I'm gonna message the DJ so that there's a particularly loud song coming on, but I'd rather if we're not heard by those downstairs, and I know you can do that, because there might be screaming, it might be me, and there might be a lot of it.
I'll certainly try, but no promises. Just Give me a minute. And he'll actually walk off, and perhaps a minute later walk back in, carrying like what looks to be a bell without a ringer inside, a small piece of lead, and several pieces of paper with symbols drawn on them, which he starts laying around the room. He's doing this in. You can tell he's actually putting effort into this.
Arthur's going to reach into one of his packs. He's going to pull out some blue and silver paint. It looks like it's been hand ground and mixed. He's going to pass it to Spider, and then he's going to hand him a piece of paper that has what looks like woad. Looks like it's got a person on it with woad drawings on it, and say, "I need you to paint this on him."
Okay. Sí se puede, man.
Okay. Gravedigger will take off the top hat and just kind of let himself paint it up.
Arthur's then going to take out a really unusual looking herb, and he's going to mix it with what looks like horchata.
Hey,
And
horchata.
then he's going to grind the herb with horchata. Has any of you guys ever seen peyote? That's what he's grinding into the horchata.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Okay. After I paint up a Gravedigger, I'm going to rub his shoulders a little bit and be like, all right, I feel like I need to be your corner coach on this. If he's having you drink that, or if he's drinking that, we're all in for a long night.
Right.
He's
Do you still
going
have
to hand off the horchata to Spider and say, "Hey, can you finish this for me?"
I
The
don't think
bottle
I,
of horchata. The bottle of horchata, not the mixture.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then I start sipping that because I do like horchata. IRL.
right? Pyro. Do you? Or sorry, what was it? Spider. Do you still have your handcuffs on you?
That's those are welded to my bed frame.
You've got to remove any metal on you.
All right then.
Oh,
I can't run the risk of it superheating.
Gravedigger will take off all of his, metal components. So all of his rings, his necklace, his belt
Piercings.
buckle, piercings, and all that jazz. So he'll kind of pop them all out and lay them on the table. All right then. So it's probably not a good idea for somebody to hold me down, which would have otherwise been physically, better. How's the?
I assume it's like one roll for every, say, 2 to 3 minutes at this point.
Yeah, but you can stack successes too.
Oh yeah, that's what he's doing. He's stacking successes. So basically, for like almost the last 10 minutes, he's been rolling.
Actually,
and by the way, if you're using a focus and a custom focus, which you are, it drops the difficulty by 2. So it's actually diff 4, not diff 5. Just important.
Oh, in that case, that would be
3, and 2. Yeah, so that's
plus willpower. So that would be would be
so 4, 4, and 3.
So 11 successes, and I'm going to do one more this time.
Actually, you don't need to do any more because you basically, until you banish it, you have warded it from sound for like almost ever.
Hold on.
So you're good.
Yeah.
If you want to describe
the only thing you can do. The only thing that I would say is that I would say put 2 or 3 into willpower and put the rest into scrying or anti-clairaudience defense.
Oh, this entire building, Brett. This entire building already has like a 10 success ward on it to prevent being scried.
What he's doing with this one is he's purely going to be bending the sound. It's purely forces going to be bending the sound and essentially dissipating it out. So
okay.
So it will be lost into the mingling background noise of the loud song.
Okay,
so
that
he's
works.
trying to make it as coincidental as possible. Nevertheless, he's still doing this quite extensively. So yes, we're also just going to check. Would you chaps agree this is coincidental, or would you say vulgar without witnesses?
I'm going to say that this is coincidental until somebody tries shouting at you through it, at which point then it becomes vulgar with witnesses. Vulgar with
Okay.
or without witnesses.
So at this point, yes, I
Right.
succeeded. So no paradox game.
Right.
Yay.
Spider, get me a bottle of vodka from behind the bar over there, he says, gesturing at the bar that's in the VIP lounge.
Arthur's looking at that and said, yeah, you're going to need that after you drink that shit.
Uh-huh.
I get him some
Um,
tequila.
Arthur's
Okay,
going to
that'll-
lay out a medicine wheel. He's going to place a few oddly looking shaped stones on them, and he's going to say, I need something particularly powerful of yours.
Personal or powerful?
Ring, necklace, your eye patch, whatever you want to do, just as long as it's personal to you and has a strong connection to your body as well as your spirit.
Will
Okay.
be destroyed in
there's
the
a
end or no?
Because there's a chance that your soul may end up in the ether.
Oh, fun. Gravedigger will take off his eye patch, and yeah, this is probably the first time you've ever seen Gravedigger. The others probably have, but Arthur never has seen what Gravedigger's other eye looks like. As he opens it, it's brilliant purple, like a kind of a deep lilac purple, and etched across it, it's almost like it's a really weird symbol. It almost looks like a demonic symbol that basically comprises that circles around the pupil, and then the pupil itself is slit down the center. So the eye looks fucked up.
He's just like, that's interesting.
Out of character, it's his devil's mark. So I just thought it'd be cool to have it on his eye.
Makes sense.
But he'll throw you his eye patch.
He'll take it and he'll place it in the north portion, the portion that's closest to you, of the wheel. You can tell that he's, if any of you are familiar with the other traditions, he's mixing verbena and dream speaker paradigms.
Right, so I need to drink this, do I?
Not yet. Arthur's going to hold his hands over the mixture and that works. As he holds it over, it's glowing. I need to actually make a paradox chart. So it's vulgar without witnesses, so that's one paradox.
Just don't fail.
Yes, I know. Well, botch would be worse, but definitely don't want to fail. So as he does that, you see that it's now glowing like, you've seen what task looks like when you dissolve it into quintessence, right?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. And he's going to motion for you to drink it. While he reaches into his pack, he pulls out 4 coins that look like they're Chinese yuan coins. He places them around the wheel.
Okay. Gravedigger will take the thing that he has to drink and he'll knock it back in one kind of gulp. Like,
All right. You need to make a stamina check. Stamina survival, if you have it.
I do not have survival, fortunately,
you're
because...
drinking horchata with pure peyote.
Okay, what's the diff of the stamina roll?
Diff 7.
Okay.
Don't botch.
4 successes.
There we go.
I love Hessian magic. I've got stamina of 5 till the end of the month. Fuck yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you feel like you're about to start tripping balls. But it's very warm and very friendly. It's like if you're gonna go on a trip, it's gonna be a good trip, not a bad trip.
Spider, I've always wanted to say this to you. You should grow a mustache. Like a huge mustache.
Hey. I already do have a mustache. It's not real good.
Whoa! You have a mustache! He's just picturing him with a huge, like,
At this
Sanchez
point,
mustache.
Arthur's going to hold out his hands and snap his fingers, and all 5 coins are going to transform into quintessence. And this is going to hurt.
I assume this is the to actually start silencing things.
Yeah.
So at that point, you will see Pyro raise his hands and essentially make basically a sort of silence gesture with a wave of his hands.
How do you state that you're spending willpower for the roll?
You put another hashtag, and then you write with willpower is how I do it. So at the very end of the roll, you just put hashtag with willpower.
Yeah.
Actually, you space it, so you have the 5d10 F number space hashtag with willpower.
So you guys will see a momentary blue glow at the very tips of those fingers, almost like static, and then suddenly, all of the balcony dead, utter silence as every single sound in that space is pulled out and filtered out across the room, completely covered and absorbed by the pounding sound of the music from the DJ's booth.
Okay, so to give you an idea of what Arthur is doing, the quintessence is going to flow around his hands and then push right into Gravedigger. You're going to feel a lot of pain, and you'll notice that Arthur is glowing faintly. He is singing in a language that nobody here, unless you have Enochian, can understand.
Well, no one can hear it there.
No, I mean, you guys are there and you can't hear him. So, I mean, you can't understand Enochian.
Oh, yeah. I'm just sort
Oh,
of
I think basically the idea that we had, Anthony, was more we can still talk. It's when sound hits the barrier that you put up that then it dissipates, so we can still talk and hear each other.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Slight reshaping with wall of soundproofness.
There we go.
That didn't work.
Yeah, remember it's hashtag, not slash.
5d10, F7. Doing the with willpower doesn't seem to work.
It's not a slash. It's a hashtag. You can writing slash.
What the hash key looks like.
Oh, I thought it was a.
No, the hash key is the one that looks like a tic-tac-toe board.
I know, but I thought you guys said slash with willpower, not hashtag with willpower.
No.
Sorry, we might not have communicated that well, but yeah, that's 3 successes.
Okay, you are in pain. Like, pain is racking your entire body. Even the peyote and horchata mixture is not deadening it.
Okay. There will be much screaming, so he'll kind of writhe around, scream, but obviously it gets killed by the sound barrier. Everyone in here can hear him scream. So, fun.
You'll feel something writhing on your brain, like it's trying to burrow itself in deeper, and then all of a sudden you don't remember there being something on your brain, and you don't remember anything about the Codex of Lurie, and you don't remember the guy on the throne.
Okay.
And Arthur, that was a success. It was vulgar without witnesses. That's another paradox. All right. And as soon as he's done, the glow will vanish. You'll be kind of semi-unconscious. And it tastes like burning ass on your tongue. And for everybody that watched this happen, Arthur basically just shoved a whole bunch of quintessence into him, and when he did that, the woad on Gravedigger's skin turned pure silver and then vanished. And weird black Icarus smoke starts coming out of all of his head orifices, is the polite way to say it. he seems to be surrounded by some kind of silvery nimbus, and then it just vanishes along with the smoke. Though his skin is a little bit more rich looking than it was. Like, he does not as pale as he was before. And then he's going to fall unconscious after screaming his head off.
Okay. Thunk. Onto the floor I go. Because I'm going to say he pitches forward from his chair. So, thunk. Twitch.
After a few seconds, Pharaoh will just let his hands fall. Sound of the room rushes back in. The sound wall is gone.
Arthur's going to pick up his cream soda and he's going to drain that bitch like straight down. Arthur's then going to produce a smelling salt and he's going to wake Gravedigger's bitch ass up.
So I remember why Arthur was here. I just don't remember anything to do with anything I read or to do with the brain malarkey stuff. So I remember
Exactly.
It was there, but I don't remember anything I learned from the book, basically, or anything I saw during that process. Cool.
Exactly.
Gravedigger will sit bolt upright, and he'll kind of blink. As he does so, he takes the bottle of vodka. He takes he caps it with his teeth, and he starts just slugging it down. And he drains about a third of it before he basically sets it down beside him and looks up. Well, that was a hell of a thing.
Certainly looked like it.
Yes. You were right, by the way, Mr. Wainwright. I can't remember for the life of me anything I used to know about what I read in that infernal book.
Don't think about it.
I will live longer.
From what Casal said, it's called a keeper of knowledge, and it's where basically, since humans aren't supposed to read the book, it acts as a buffer. So think about it. The more that you would have read of that book, the bigger that thing would have gotten, and the more it would have eaten away at your brain.
That's why I'm so worried about Mijag. She had it a hell of a lot longer than I did.
Well, I can't do anything without her consent. I'm just glad this didn't kill you. I was completely... it was hit or miss whether or not you would have died from this. No offense.
None taken.
Isn't there a circumstance in which you can reasonably conclude that Tony is not mentally sound to make the decision?
Yeah, there is that. Except for the fact that last time we talked, she was mentally sound.
But you know she's having her brain eaten by a evil worm thing?
I've seen Tony under mind sight, which means I don't know the cause of them, but I know she has a number of derangements.
Mm-hmm.
So Gravedigger will smile and say, I don't think she's as sane as you think she is, Arthur. He retakes his seat.
She's shown enough rationality from the fact that I can't do this without her consent. You wanted this thing off your head. You know, until she tells me she's ready, I can't do anything.
Where's the... Oh, DeSalle broke the book apart, sent into tomorrow, didn't he? Or something suitably metaphysical.
I don't know. I think he told Jason that he dispersed it, which means that he could have turned it into particulate matter and spread it throughout the world.
There's a problem, though. You know that he broke his deal with the vampires to do that, right?
What deal with the vampires?
He hasn't told you.
No, nobody told me.
Right, gather round, kiddies, and listen to Uncle Gravedigger's patented Christmas tale. So, Miss Ramirez, a.k.a. the clan Tremere, I was going to say bitch, but witch seems more appropriate for this, was literally sitting on... That's acceptable. Spider, is it fair to say that she was literally sitting on the book? She was literally sitting on the book.
She could have been doing worse things to it, I suppose.
I mean, she is a
I mean,
Tremere.
No, so basically, let me set the scene. The book is in a box, and she is sitting on the box. And she refuses to get up. She demands
Well,
that she
I mean,
demands.
from what I know, from what I understand, she really does love box.
Oh, it's funny. It's funny. It's so funny. Anyway, but she's sitting on the box, and she's refusing to let us take the book until such time as she speaks to Dessau and one of their vampire priests. Bartholomew. I
probably
like Bartholomew. He's not a bad sort.
He's a Franciscan monk, so it makes sense. Roger Bacon was one of his.
Yes. But she's trying to get us all out of the room. Now, forgive me, I'm not going to let a book of that importance and magnitude fall into vampire hands. No fucking way. Back me up on that, Pyro.
I would have sooner burnt it than let it go to them.
Problem is, it's very difficult to damage, but I'm going to get to that in a moment.
Oh,
So-
believe me, I'd have found a fucking way.
Yeah.
And if you look at his face, you can see like actual rigid determination. You get the distinct impression he would probably have been willing to nuke the city if it meant destroying that book before letting the vampires take it.
Brett, quick question, because Evan's having a brain moment. From what I'm led to understand, we made the deal that if we couldn't destroy the book, Desal would return it to the Franciscans, to the friars.
Yeah, for it to be taken to the
Yeah. Okay.
to the archive.
Yeah. So basically, what happened was Desal made this deal with the friars that in the event that we couldn't destroy the book, aka the Magi, he'd return it to them. Because apparently they consider it their sacred duty or their sacred property or something sacred. And that was agreed on. We then went to Desal's temporary sanctum, which is out on the beach, out by Long Kai. And his apprentice, or his former apprentice, Jason Morley, proceeded to try and destroy the book. Now, Jason was succeeding in destroying the book. I emphasize this, I saw it. However, because both myself and Tony had read from the book, we had these things in our skulls that made it so that if the book was destroyed, it would kill us both. Now, I'm not a heroic person. Pyro, am I a heroic person?
No,
There we go. I wouldn't like to be claimed to be heroic.
no.
Well-
If you did, it would be the biggest lies. It's the person who claimed pineapple belongs on pizza.
What did Jason use to damage the book as he did?
Out of character, Brett, what did he use to damage the book as he did? Because it was never
He
actually
basically, if you're familiar with the Flames of Purgation, it basically creates silver fire that erases patterns from existence.
Gravedigger will describe exactly.
You would have seen silver fires eating away at the book.
Okay,
So-
he will explain what he saw.
That makes sense then. Oh, it was something that we were working on together. Remember that black shit that infected Tony? The
Yes.
stuff that made her suicidal?
Yes, I do recall that.
Well, Desal can't do everything himself, so he taught myself and Jason a way for us to do it together. Basically, I purged the shit out of them, and he uses the flames to erase it from existence. It's called the Flames of Purgation. It's an Order of Hermes thing where they basically dissolve patterns into nothingness.
That's horrifying.
Yeah,
It
you
can only be used on inanimate objects, though. It can't be used on living or unliving flesh, unfortunately.
Pyro is visibly like twitching.
But yeah, so Jason was burning it away. Now, believe it or not, I was willing to play the hero at this moment in time. I was willing to let it kill me in the event they could destroy this book so it could be erased. Yeah, I know. A little bit out of character, but what can I say? However, it was decided that that was not a risk that Master DeSalle wanted to take with my life and Tony's life on the line, so he stopped the process. However, he then took the book and banished it, or he deatomized it, or whatever the fuck you want, however you want to phrase it, into time. So the book will recongeal in about a decade or so's time, apparently. But he didn't give it back to the vampires, so he broke his deal with them.
I mean, did the vampires bitch about it?
Not immediately, but bear in mind, these guys are used to playing the long-ass game.
That's true. Well, if it comes down to it, I mean, you know DeSalle better than anybody when it comes to the life of other mages. He tries to protect us. I mean, he's old enough to have seen enough of us die, but considering the fact that there are fewer and fewer awakenings every year, we're kind of we're kind of dying out.
Yeah.
Not quite yet. But
No, I get you, Arthur, but the fact of the matter is that this is why I'm worried, honestly. Gravedigger will lift his teacup to his lips again and will take another sip of tea. The fact of the matter is that you're right. You've made some friends on the other side when it comes down to it. You know, you've made friends with a vampire or a werewolf or whatever else have you. But when that wall comes down, we're just avatars or can eaters or whatever the fuck they call us. They're the enemy.
he has
When
an
the day
important
comes-
point, Arthur.
He does. Well, I guess it's fortunate that we've got our own way of handling things. You know, I mean, you guys learn enough Prime and enough life, you can... I'm going to do something real quick that's going to be stupid for Arthur to do.
Hooray!
Okay.
Random stupidity!
Why? Why? Why?
It's going to be more stupid for him to do than anything.
I repeat, why?
I botched it.
For
Oh,
fuck's
shit.
sake.
What is that? 1 + 1
It's a lot of
Four.
paradox, Jim.
Paradox.
Because I know that a failure is you take the sum of the highest sphere used and you gain that much paradox. So what is a
Yeah.
botch?
And
So-
am I right in thinking that you have a paradox backlash if you earn more than 5 in a single seed?
Yeah, and I just hit
Yeah.
6.
Yep.
So-
So
Oh.
backlash time, boy. Roll 6 dice.
I mean-
minimum.
Yeah.
Assuming you have no additional paradox.
Do you have
burn
additional
one.
paradox?
I only burn one. No, I don't, fortunately. But I only burn 1. So,
That would be 1 bashing damage, I believe.
yeah. So,
That's a
It's-
headache. And you're still at 5 paradox.
yeah, Arthur sings in Enochian, and then all of a sudden it's like, ow, never mind. I was going to show you that with enough life and enough Prime, you can basically turn your fists into aggravated weaponry.
Oh, we know
Yeah.
that. It's not a matter of we're not how to phrase. Frankly, I'm not worried about the fairies, Arthur. Look, if I offended them, they still believe in knights and kings and all that shit. One of them spent the better part of 2 months calling me Merlin.
Yeah, I heard about that. Must have really fed your ego.
I mean, I could advise the once and future King of England, but I've got a theory that Merlin's probably more your type than mine.
Probably.
But realistically, I'm not worried because in the end, we're, and he points to Arthur like dead towards the chest. We're the ones who have to free the city from the technocracy. The others can't do it.
I mean, there's
Well,
ways they can do it, but at least there's ways they can help.
And they can help, but in the end, it's got to be us to do the legwork.
Hey, is everything okay? No, he doesn't want to see me or you.
Yep. We'll just wait for a second. Caleb, are you there?
Yes,
Okay, we were just wondering because you haven't said anything in a while.
I needed to.
Okay. How's The Witcher?
I stopped.
Okay. But yes, that does raise a point. Spider,
Yes.
how to phrase. There's a new. I'm going to be posting up a new banned list from the clubs. I'd like it to be viciously maintained.
Who are you borrowing from the club this time?
Mostly just the changelings, because fuck those guys.
You do realise if we put enough wards up, we won't even be able to get in.
That's entirely fair.
Okay, so maintained or maintained?
The chucked out on their ass, the not have a cap slugged into the not slugged into their skull.
Some more of the second then.
I've never understood the phrase "to bust a cap in someone's ass." I mean, how often do people get shot in the ass, realistically?
Like being stabbed in the ass.
Depends which part of America you're in.
Well, like I said, it's like
Is it
being stabbed
because-
in the ass. Nobody gets stabbed in the ass either. Or knocked out
I've
on their
always
ass. Or
theorized-
any.
I've always
No.
theorized it was because gangbangers always had, really loose jeans, so they used to put their guns
No.
in the back of their jeans, and it used to end sadly for everyone involved.
No. It's like being thrown out on your ass or being stabbed in the ass. Or it's just, turn a phrase.
Gravedigger. I've long had a theory that it's due to Americans being fat, and basically when they're running away, it's the biggest target.
I would point out, my dear friend Pyro, I'm Mexican, and I still bust
said
caps on
American.
people's asses.
You're not
I would
American.
also like to point out, though, Spider, you come from a culture that lauds the size of one's ass. After all, you do like big butts, and you cannot lie.
That's Sir Mix-a-Lot, and he's black.
That is why I
There's a-
said Americans, Spider.
Arthur's just gonna say, "I'm American," and he's gonna pull up his shirt, and it's just gonna be like, lean muscle.
Yeah.
Yes, but you're in it. But you are also a mage. Very different.
Well, I'm just saying. I think the point he's trying to make is don't be a jingoist.
I'm not being a jingoist.
You're generalizing based on someone's nation. You are absolutely, by definition, being a jingoist.
Jingo.
Every nation sucks.
Jingo, oldest.
Every nation sucks. Every society sucks.
Anyway.
Right. Oh, by the way, important point. Apparently, my book will work for you guys. You just need to blue book that you're reading it.
Good.
So,
Excellent.
yes.
Yes.
Now,
Okay.
Pyro will like to stand up and take another drink. I'm going off to bed. If any of you bastards want to see me, I'm sleeping in the sanctum.
Why are you sleep? Do you have any idea when my fucking ghost has to come to me and say that you're drooling on the literature again? The fact of the
I
matter
use
is,
a camp bed. Tell her to stop piling books underneath the camp bed.
Well, I'm gonna go. I might go pass out too, but I'm gonna go pass out in the dungeon.
Arthur's just gonna say,
Dungeon.
"I'm gonna go somewhere so I don't, explode, just in
Come
case."
with me to the dungeon.
No, I think I'm gonna head to my greenhouse and tend my garden.
Are you sure? I mean, there's, what's a little bit of pegging between two friends, right?
I'm straight, but I thank you for your interest.
So am I.
Good luck in your future endeavors. He's gonna pick up his stuff and he's gonna go ahead and leave.
Pyro will actually pat Spider on the shoulder. One day you're going to get a guy who works for you.
I'm just saying. Hey, you know
Pyro
what?
is going to rapidly turn and start walking away.
Hey, I'm straight as a lion as he walks out. I'm just saying, a beautiful woman with a strap on. What's wrong, right?
Gravedigger kind of
straight.
looks down at
You're
his
up straight as a spiral.
Gravedigger looks down at his cup of tea, looks up again, looks out the door at the guys who are leaving, empties like another quart of vodka into his teacup, lifts it to his lips, and nods. That has been his
I'll
evening.
I'll poke my head back in. Gravedigger, you come with me to the dungeon.
Oh, one
Fucking-
thing, Evan. When you look down at the saucer of your teacup, there's a blunt sitting there with a match.
Nice.
And basically, it's
He'll,
Arthur's way of saying, in case you have any extra effects from the peyote.
He'll put the blunt behind his ear and kind of flick his long silver hair over it, and he'll just shrug and go, "Yeah, fuck it, but I'm Big Spoon tonight."
Yeah.
And with that, boys and girls, we shall end the scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has ended in the most homoerotic way of a scene in Hong Kong. Have a good evening.